Okay, good morning. I'm going to read my self novel, and this is my brainchild. Okay, then I'm going to start now. Once upon a time, at the ancient hamlet, lived a happy family. Home, a public figure named Patriano, and Santana, a mother of three children named Samuel, Micaela, and Raphael, their youngest. The people from their far off village known them because of their business as milliner, which make them which make their family name famous. And aside from that, they were responsible for the distribution of the daily newspaper in every muse at the distant storm from about 6 o'clock in the morning, which being parplung into their village by the help of his son and daughter. 3 years after, Samuel became a soldier who is a paladin from an imperial palace. And then, a day that Samuel wear his panoply, and also together with his troop, afterwards, everybody carried a bone, directing themselves at the ossuary where bones of the dead is to be deposited. After that, standing at the site, then began to remember when he confronted a baron who passes from their palisade and bash him with a barb, and also seeing one of their members who died at the distance bridge. One day from their village there were soldiers who is playing a pig. Afterwards it happened when one of them is looking downward on the ground, a sword was found, and believed for having a magical power. And in the other side, Samuel is not in his condition for talking to anyone or somebody, and he's sallow of that hours. Then one day, stepping awry from a distance, he was surprised is because there were other troops who is making a sudden attack and besiege or surround their palace. Samuel isn't afraid in facing them, but he was bold or brave. And their enemy needs a said magical sword, and one of their members began talking and said, "It's ours, and you must give it back to us." Afterwards, what they didn't know is that there is a wood nymph at the distant forest, who is the one throwed number of which for them to be afraid. Therefore, an e-squares of knights, who is wearing a vizard, look up at the sky. Afterwards, telling his troop to run their horses towards the red forest. Afterwards, it vanishes. On the other day, it was Monday morning at home when Patriano is using a ladder to check their chimney. Then, after that, Samuel arose from his bed. On the other side, a man outside a palace who decided to rusticate their place, and of that they were is able and began to talk and said, "What happened to your daughter who fell down from the trees which she tries to climb up?" Then Samuel asked for help to the said man in order to find her daughter's favorite bauble in Bengal. Then promised the said man to receive bounty. After that, getting near to his chiffonier, and opened it and show a man the said price, and it was a gold. Then on the other day went at his side and passed the street in a wayside of a forest. Afterwards an hour passes by, and both of them decide to stop over when the time that the sky is covered with darkness. Then on their side Samuel heard noise, and it was a cougar who is hungry and trying to get their food. But the two in eventide continued to stomp. Afterwards, upon reaching an old church, saw a still to the other side of the said church. Then on the morning passes still, and it's the ideation of Samuel for them to make their entrance at the subalpine where he can see the said bubble and bangle. It happened that in the other day when they reached Subalpin, his friend can't believe of the noom that they seen, and in his hand carried the said bauble and bangle, and said, "Oh, you are here, and you need this bangle and bauble." Then a few moments while they talk, a wellowo happens. Thereafter Paris appeared and talked to the said noom, and telling him to give it back. Then the noom said, "As you wish." And at the same time, there were people at the said glade at the Sobalpin. And the two were wakened from sleep, and when they seen the said people, both were surprised. But in a Saturnin, thereafter a center getting near, and wanting both of them to ride. And when they arrived at the realm of the said Paris, afterwards, in that afternoon, a Perry grandmother revealed a story about Samuel's daughter, and Perry grandmother told them that she's alive, abducted by a group of barbarous tribe. And it happened a month of war from Sobalpin, when the knights from the other side make their onset against the tribe. Paris also told them that her daughter fell down from the trees, which she climbed, but she was unlucky. Unlucky is because accidentally landed in a wagon, but the tribe members doesn't know it. On the other day, one members of the tribe discover a beautiful lady who is hiding from a wagon. On the other day, where Samuel meted his troops in the serried forest, and for them to infiltrate the place of a tribe. Afterwards, when they get near to the said place, a man's daughter had a short sleep on that very evening, and arose in a cage when she heard a whistle from his father. Thereupon making way out of a cage by means of finding the case and finding a place to be safe. After that, Samuel, a leader of their troops, decided to stop for a moment when he see their friends, who make equitation of his horse, and passes in front of him, followed by their square. And a tribe's leader were surprised that afternoon when a sudden attack was about to happen. Then her daughter directs her eyes into the side of the said cage, where she can reach the case. Then her plan of escapology was about to happen. Then directs herself to the said church, and about Petrano's family still awaited the comeback of Samuel's daughter, but expected not to see her again. One day at a church, and a man's daughter was hiding herself in a few moments inside the church, seeing a light, and it was a face of a nun who is a member of a Cenobite. And she see her in her dream. After that, an old nun began talking and said, "It was you whom the tribes wanted to emulate," and the other named Louisiana. Then a nun said that she will stay for weeks inside the church. It was Monday morning when a friend instructed Samuel to go back from their palace and to bring her daughter, and also the 10 members of a tribe being captured, and their patriarch was lucky to make their escapology. But then Samuel said, "But wait, I'm going to find my daughter." Then her daughter coming out from a church and shouted, "Father, I'm here."